welcome to the Achaibo Clinical Community. I am very delighted that you're here. This is our Achaibo Clinical's Wednesday chat on clinical trials facts. And our purpose here is to innovate and modernize the African clinical trial space. If you just joined our platform, we're very delighted to have you. And here at Achaibo Clinical, we're passionate about two things: clinical trials and success mindset training. So let me dive right into our topic for today, and that is getting into the clinical trials industry. And I'm going to share 4 interesting ideas that you can use to get into this industry or to understand how best you can make a difference. So the first thing is that every industry has a certain language, right? There is a certain type of language that is being used within that industry, if I'm repeating myself here. And you have to understand that language. Now, in the clinical trials industry, we have good clinical practices, which are the laws that govern this industry. But in addition to that, you have to understand how to implement them. So how do I take this understanding of good clinical practices and how does that work on a practical day-to-day basis, whether I am a principal investigator in this industry, or I'm a project manager, or I'm a clinical research associate, whatever roles that they are, you have to understand how these apply to you. So you have to narrow the gap between your understanding of the laws and the implementation of them. And that comes to training in a hands-on practical way. Networking is also important, but there's a specific way to do it. I know some of you who want careers in this industry typically just go in and apply for jobs. That obviously will not work, because majority of the time, people are looking for experienced clinical research professionals to get into the industry. So it's sort of a catch-22, isn't it? I do not have the experience, but how do I get the experience to get into the industry? So you have to use a different way of networking, and there was a proper way to do that. Your resume. I have this expression that your resume does not reflect where you are, it reflects where you are going. So you have to ensure that your resume reflects the opportunity that you're going for. And it could be a resume for a principal investigator. It could be a resume for someone who wants to be a biomarker specialist in the industry. It could be a resume for someone who wants to be a project manager, whatever it is. You want to make sure that it reflects where you're going so that someone can look at your skill set and say, oh, they might not have been in this industry, but they most certainly have certain experience that reflects the kinds of people that we want in this industry. And the last one, of course, trust in your actions. They're not Martians in the clinical research industry. I most certainly am not a Martian. I'm for planet Earth. So what that simply means is that you too can get into the industry, and you just have to follow a certain way of doing it. And don't go with the crowd, because when you go with the crowd, you get very little results. And you want to make sure that you're dealing with people who are actually in the industry, who can guide you in a way that you become successful. So those are the 4 things. You have to understand the language. You have to understand implementing that language, the training, the knowledge. You have to know how to network within this industry. You want to make sure that your resume reflects where you're going and not where you are, right? And the last one, of course, is trust in your actions. You too are capable of making a difference in the lives of patients. So that said, those are my 4 tips for today for getting into this industry. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of that. But if you really want to get one-on-one interaction with me, make sure to join our WhatsApp group. It's a very intimate setting where there are many other people like you who want to either get into the industry, who are already in the industry, and who want to make a difference. We also have free monthly webinars, so make sure to register for that. And if you have additional questions, I offer a free 15 minutes session. So come to that with your questions ready so I can answer them. And of course, if you're interested in our clinical research training programs, click on the links below. So all these links are under this video, and you can click on them based on what your needs are. So stay passionate, be full of integrity, and always rise to excellence. And I will see you on the next video.